and welcome to the first episode of our brand new playlist.
Things we learned from being bicultural. Now, at the beginning of this video, we showed you a set of different photos with many different people in them.
For some of you, these photos may just look the same, but for others, they may have noticed some differences or may have given an unconscious judgment.
So you know probably that in many parts of the world there are talks about beauty standards and ideal beauty that are coming from every corner. So we too wanted to make a video on this topic, and in particular we wanted to start off this video by giving you what we think or what we understand as beauty standards. For us, beauty standards are actually when only certain traits, physical traits, are considered beautiful, while excluding basically all those people who do not have such traits.
Clearly, we find these standards for females as well as males, though these discussions are mainly on female beauty. Still, we think that what makes you beautiful, according to these standards, is not just the physical appearance, but also the way you dress, you speak, and you behave in general.
So it goes without saying that different countries have different standards, and that in many cases such standards have evolved and changed through time. For instance, a well-known example is that in countries like Sri Lanka or India, for example, whiter skin tones are considered prettier than darker ones. Actually, darker ones are felt as something diminishing your potential beauty.
Most of us is living under these absurd standards, which are too powerful to be ignored, as the entire society is influenced by them. Some of us follow and judge by these standards without even knowing, while others are a little bit more conscious about them, but still they decide to follow them as the entire society is under the influence of such standards. Naturally, as always, we cannot generalize, as we are sure that out there are some individuals who are not so influenced by these standards and follow their personal definition of beauty.
Unfortunately, I do not think that the two of us belong to this last group yet. I do not think that we still can completely ignore such standards. But especially when we were younger, I think it was really hard, not just for us but for everyone, to come up with their own idea of beauty that was so different from the ideal or from the most popular one.
Still, growing up in the context we grew up, we think we made a few steps forward this way. In fact, this video is precisely about such steps, which made us realize the nonsense of these beauty standards, as they are harmful for yourself, especially when you do not fit in them. I think that more or less when we were in middle school was the first time we started to notice the concept of beauty standards, and given that we were attending school here in Italy, the Italian standards were those that we encountered first.
We know that having super long hair is like a must for female Sri Lankan beauty, but at least when we were in middle school, there was not such a thing here in Italy. But having Sri Lankan parents who naturally wanted their daughters to fit their country's standards, their country's beauty standards, it was never easy, or they would never let their child do crazy stuff with their hair.
Another hair-related episode that might look like a superficial example, but it's something that we remember clearly. Basically, when we were in elementary school and part of middle school, we used to go to school with 2 braids and a permanent oil mask on.
Now, this would be a perfectly normal and functional practice in Sri Lanka, where Normally girls go to school with two braids if they have long hair, but here in Italy, oily hair meant dirty hair, and the fact that we could not wear our hair loose, in a way we felt like we were not as pretty as the other Italian girls.
So another episode that comes to my mind is essentially that I wore glasses since I was 8, and the fact that I was wearing glasses was not an issue here in Italy. But when I started to travel to visit Sri Lanka during our summer holidays, there was always this or that auntie that would point out the fact that wearing glasses diminished my beauty. Actually, what they used to say was, you are really pretty, but you would be way better without glasses. And at that moment, I really didn't understand the reason of these silly comments, as glasses, or better, wearing glasses for me was a necessity. I believe that this has to do with the fact that wearing glasses is not part of the Sri Lankan beauty standard, or better, the ideal Sri Lankan female beauty frame.
On the other hand, I also had my own issues when I visited Sri Lanka around the age of 11, 12. Basically, at the time, I was really skinny, and luckily here in Italy, I never had to question my weight because I was like skinny, and skinniness was the perfect fit for Italian beauty standards, at least at the time. And but I remember that in Sri Lanka, when I saw like a relative or someone for the first time after a couple of years, the first thing that they used to say was, it's really a shame that you are so skinny, you should eat more, or things like, maybe you should try to gain more weight, and things like that.
Well, for me was quite the opposite, as my body shape was a perfect match with the Sri Lankan one. However, here in Italy, as the standard was extreme skinniness, I felt uneasy with my body, even if I wasn't overweight.
In fact, something that happened quite frequently in Sri Lanka was that they would mistakenly consider me the younger sister and Tania the older one. Apparently because my skinniness was signaling that I was younger and immature.
Plot twist, for those who didn't know, we are sisters.
Anyways, finally, the last thing that we could not absolutely miss is skin color. For obvious reason, an Italian beauty had to be white, which we were not, independently from how light was our brown shade. Darker skin meant foreign, and that was it. Of course, this was what we perceived at the time, and we know that especially in south of Italy, it is very common to have darker skin tones, and that there are many people in Italy who wish they were tanned all year long.
For some Sri Lankan in Italy, their dark skin was a target of bullying. However, this was not our case. Fortunately, luckily, was not our case. Even if I was the only girl with dark skin in my class during elementary school. However, in Sri Lanka, the media and the society pushes girls and boys to elevate fair skin. So they promote the use of whitening creams and etc. And despite the fact that these people know the negative effect of these creams on their health, they feel the necessity to use them, and we too felt the power of this specific standard because we have a lighter skin tone with respect to the average one in Sri Lanka. And because of this, we felt somehow more confident because of this, even if we should not have.
But only looking back, we can actually understand how superficial and toxic it was to gain confidence from something like this. Anyways, these were only a few of the many experiences that we had with beauty standards. Now, you have seen that we are connected, we have always been connected to two different countries, and this meant that we had to deal with two different beauty standards. And I would say that this was both the center of our dilemma and also the solution to it.
So, being Sri Lankan and living in Italy made us a very peculiar category, as on the one hand, we cannot perfectly match the Italian beauty standards for obvious reasons, and on the other hand, we are not a perfect 100% match with the Sri Lankan beauty either. And most importantly, many times following one meant going against the other. And this is precisely what helped us unchain, or at least begin to unchain, from the concept of beauty standards.
Being bicultural and living through all these contrasting experiences really made us realize how volatile and what a nonsense are these standards. We know that this was quite a complex topic, but still we wanted to make a video on it because we felt like we could give you like a interesting and hopefully original insight on the topic, and hopefully we did not confuse you too much.
Please let us know in the comment down below if you had any similar experiences and how you reacted to them.
Okay, this is everything for this video, so see you with another video.
Thank you for watching till the end, and see you next time. Bye, Falooda Friends!
Bye!